Hello, folks. Welcome back, MTG Burgeoning, and we're doing it again. Back by popular demand, here is the second installment of the Dozen Dozen. If you've seen the first round of Dozen Dozen, you know how this works. We've got one gross of sealed Magic the Gathering booster packs. 12 different sets, 12 packs per set, 144, the Dozen Dozen. Without any further delay, let's roll out the candidates right away and get this series started. Released January 19th, 2018. Our first candidate for the Dozen Dozen is Rivals of Ixalan. And some of the prize cards that we'll be looking for in Rivals of Ixalan: the Immortal Sun and Elenda the Dusk Rose. Those are the two cards that are the most valuable at this moment. Rivals of Ixalan, that's our first dozen. Dozen number 2, released January 25th, 2019. Here we have Ravnica Allegiance. Entry number 2 into our Dozen Dozen. Here, Hydroid Krasis, and this woman right here, Kaya the Orzhov Usurper. Entry number 2, Ravnica Allegiance. And those are our only current standard packs that we're going to be seeing on this iteration of the Dozen Dozen. Our next entry into our 144 pack extravaganza, released September 27th, 2013. And here we have, we're going back, folks, we're going to Theros. And when we're talking Theros, we're talking the gods. And in Theros by itself, we're talking about Perforos, God of the Forge. He is the most valuable card at the moment in Theros, followed up by Thoughtseize. So there is Theros. And they're in the Dozen Dozen. Now, of course, if we're going to Theros, we might as well throw in a little Born of the Gods action. Released February 7th, 2014. And if we're talking Born of the Gods, again, a god is our most valuable card. Here it's Xenagos, the Gruul god, followed up by Brimaz, King of Ereskos. And Born of the Gods gets their slot. 4 sets in. It just makes perfect sense that if we're talking Theros and we're talking Born of the Gods, well, then yet we're talking Journey into Nyx. Journey into Nyx, released May 2nd, 2014. And again, a god takes the top spot. Athreos, the God of Passage, is our most valuable card in Journey into Nyx, with a second card being Mana Confluence, and that is Journey into Nyx. That is entry number 5. Okay, so we're almost at the halfway point. Released June 6th, 2014. Our next entry into the Dozen Dozen number 2 is Original Conspiracy. And if we're talking Original Conspiracy, folks, we're talking about a couple of commander staples in Exploration and the Vidalcan Orrery. Original Conspiracy, and we're at the halfway point of the Dozen Dozen. Released September 26th, 2014. Khans of Tarkir. And it's not going to be a great expense of imagination or creativity to arrive at the conclusion that the fetch lands are going to be the most valuable cards in this set, with Bloodstained Mire and Polluted Delta topping those fetch lands. Okay. October 2nd, 2015, in a return trip to a very, very popular world, we battled for Zendikar. Here, let's not fool ourselves. Battle of Zendikar is here for the prospect of getting an expedition. Aside from that, we got Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger, and Void Winnower as our two most valuable cards in this set, aside from any potential expeditions. And as long as we're playing the Symmetry card here, if we're talking about Battle for Zendikar, we're going to follow that up with a January 22nd, 2016 admission of, yeah, you guessed it, Oath of the Gatewatch. Again, the Masterpiece Expeditions are the cards that highlight this set. Aside from that, we have Kalitas, the Trader of Get, and Kozilek, the Great Distortion. So that's going to be 24 chances at a potential lottery card. But not to be outdone, let's fast forward a little bit to January 22nd. I'm sorry, let me pull that one back. Let's fast forward to July 14th, not January 22nd, July 14th, 2017, Hour of Devastation. And similar to Oath of the Gatewatch, similar to Battle for Zendikar, we're looking for a Masterpiece Invocation here. And if we strike out there, well, we hope for a Razaketh the Foul-Blooded or a Locust God, as those are the two most valuable cards in the set, aside from the Masterpieces. That's 10. 2 more, and we complete our next iteration of the Dozen Dozen. Released August 26, 2016. Again, if you're watching the Symmetry here, you know what's coming. Conspiracy, Take the Crown. There they are. 12 packs of Conspiracy, Take the Crown. And here, the two best cards, or the two most valuable cards, Expropriate and Selvala, Heart of the Wilds. And clearly, depending on the week, one's in front of the other. And that brings us to entry number 12. Our 12th set to complete our Dozen Dozen. Released March 16th, 2018. We have Masters 25. And those are our 1 dozen sets. 12 packs per set, 144 packs, the Dozen Dozen. However, just like the first iteration of the Dozen Dozen, let's make it a little more interesting. Let's throw out some prop speculations about what we might see cumulatively and individually within these packs. So let's talk about it. Again, we're here with the number of artifacts, the number of non-basic lands, the number of foils, the number of full art basic lands. It's a bit higher than last time because of the guaranteed full art basic lands in both Battle for Zendikar and Oath of the Gatewatch. Hour of Devastation will be our wild card. Total number of all mythic rares across the 144 packs. How many wastes will we get from Oath of the Gatewatch? How many total foil rares will we have? How many gods will we get, keeping in mind that all 15 gods from the Theros block are available, in addition to the 3 gods in Hour of Devastation? How many Planeswalkers will we get? The last time we did a dozen out of 144 packs, Vraska was our lone planeswalker. I can't imagine that's going to happen again. Can you? How many Shocklands will we get out of 12 packs from Ravnica Allegiance? How many fetch lands will we get from 12 packs of Khans of Tarkir? How many jackpot cards will we get? A jackpot card is pretty much any one of the 24 cards referenced in each of the sets that we were talking about, as each are the most valuable to their respective sets. Will we get a foil full art basic land? Will we get a foil mythic rare? Will we get a masterpiece? Will we get multiple masterpieces? Will we get a pack that contains 2 mythic rares? Will we get a God pack? Come on, folks. On average, 1 pack in 60 boxes. Think about that. That's over 2,000 packs. Likelihood of that, very, very little. That's actually less likely than pulling a masterpiece. Will we get a Jace the Mind Sculptor from Masters 25, the single most valuable mythic and most valuable card in this entire dozen? Will we get an Azusa, the single most valuable rare in all of this iteration of the dozen? Will we get more instants or more sorceries? What basic land type will be most frequent? What will be the most frequent rare and mythic? Will it be blue? Will it be colorless, green? And when we get to Rivals of Ixalan, which creature type will be more prevalent? Dinosaurs or pirates? This is the dozen, number 2. I look forward to hearing your thoughts, your selections on these speculations. Leave them in the comments. Email them to mtgburgeoning@gmail.com. And I look forward to doing this again. And finally, just in case, there is the most valuable cards, the 2 most valuable cards in every set. This is MTG Burgeoning. Thank you again. Go forth and enjoy this day.